And while that does damage the yield, because you can't exceed 125% yield, there's nothing I can do that would make that any better. See where I'm getting at. Yeah, once you're at 125, you're at 125. You're done. I could be at minus 20 for weeding, or for weeds. But if I deal with the weeds, that mechanically that could then put me on a 125 without full nitrogen. Goes. I guess that could be a thing we try out. I'm guessing I'm going to need to weed this tomorrow, because there'll be weed growth overnight, not necessarily crop growth overnight. I am supposed to be planting this today, aren't I? Barley, yes, we're not allowed to plant canola, and I can still plant grass. Good. I have seen people make that mistake, and then the crop doesn't mature. Now, it may be that you can forage it in the last month before it goes withered, but if you plant after the planting season, you're kind of done. Obviously, with most of these crops, because the calendar we're using, there's still a planting time over here. So you could plant canola now, and it won't germinate all the way through till March, and then it should just germinate because it's already in the ground. Although I think it just says you're outside the planting period. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of weird. Come on, tractor, you can do it. And can't see. We'll go for the drone shot. So I did see might have been a Facebook short from Jeremy Clarkson announcing there is going to be a second season of Clarkson Farm. Now, we've known that was likely to be a deal since last year, since Amazon were very happy with the results of that show. So they must be probably close to post-production on that one. Okay, I am going to go back a bit for this. Yeah, we've just come into July. Not strictly speaking the full harvest season. Early harvest, I think, happens, we can look. Early harvest happens in July. So he may have a little more recording to do before the actual end of the season. but they're going to have most of it in the bag. To be over here. But that'll be something to watch come the fall. Can't think of much else that's currently out at the moment. Still kind of waiting for Mandalorian Season 3. I did watch the Kenobi series, which I didn't have extreme hopes for. You know, it wasn't, oh, this is going to be awesome, or I expect this to be awesome. And I think the first couple of episodes probably a little bit of a letdown. But I think the deal, you know, if you viewed them with the deal that, look, Kenobi's been exiled or self-exiled to this backwater planet with nothing to do, and he needs to work to feed himself. He's not kept up his Jedi training, so he basically his Force skills are weak, his lightsaber skills are weak, and then the adventure starts, and initially he is completely outclassed by everyone. But by the end, he's kind of reconnected with the Force, and, you know, he's the Jedi Knight he's supposed to be, type of thing. And then I think we end up with him going off to commune with the Force ghost of, what's his name, Qui-Gon. And I think from that point onwards, he's generally going to keep himself a little bit more in shape. So, but outside of that, I didn't think the series, the story was fine, and everything else was fine. But I don't know that you know, TV shows rate that much of a budget to be sort of movie quality. But I think it, you know, as a TV show that needed to do what it did, I think it covered its tracks. And yeah, much like The Mandalorian, you know, you don't have a big screen budget, so you make do with what you can. I think, you know, back in the day, Firefly did amazing when you consider the budget they had per show, and they concentrated on telling the story and keeping the special effects, you know, as manageable as possible budget-wise. Stargate SG-1, very much similar. You know, you had the episodes which were obviously, yeah, we spent a bit of money on this to make it spectacular, and then you had the cheap episodes where kind of fill a story. And we're not going to show the Stargate in the middle of a field, and we're not going to show the Stargate effects in the middle of the field, because that does cost money, and you've already seen it every episode up to now, so you know, we don't need to do it all again. But you know, you get, you know, you get the feelings of a big budget production without there actually being a big budget production. And you have the obvious big budget productions like Star Trek and what have you, where, you know, they've got the money to spend and they spend it. I think Babylon 5 was done fairly cheap as well, but it was cutting edge technology at the time. I believe their original special effects were done on a server of microcomputers, PCs, personal computers, and it took hours to render, but just a short sequence. It wasn't Space Blaster video game response, but missed go back. But it was good quality for TV. It's just that processing time was quite significant. Oh, is this too wide? Man, this is too wide. No, do not do that. Do not leave a gap on the left and the right. Okay, I'll keep to the left and then we'll come back on the right. I mean, it's not like it's going to double seed anything. The way the game works is if there's already seed in the ground and it's the stuff you're planting, it won't wipe out what's already there. So it's just adding seed where it needs to, which is good. Not realistic for a seeder like this, but it's good. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this is the same map we were using last week. Maypole Farm is on Giant's testing forum post, currently in test, and has been all week. I checked on Monday, I might even have checked it last Saturday, and there it was. And then it really hasn't moved all week, so we're still waiting for the update. I'm kind of hoping the update will happen early in the week, because that will give me, that'll give me, some time. I was thinking. I've got Tuesday off because I've got doctor's appointments, but I don't have to leave first thing in the morning. And there will probably be part of the afternoon I have free as well, where I don't have to work. So I'll be able to do catch-up time then. And then I was thinking Thursday afternoon I'm not working, but I'm not working on Thursday afternoon because I'm not going to have any electricity, so won't be able to do anything for that. But the basic plan is all I'm going to do is jump through to whatever day we end up here, and then make sure all of the fields are in the condition they're in. So I've got to make sure I plant barley in November, and I got to make sure that the grass field is cleared, ploughed and reseeded with grass. Any fertilization that I get done in the next few days also gets done, or not, and I can then go with make sure we've got all the equipment, either set the yard up as it is now, or set the yard up the bits that I want as is now. So I'll probably stick the potato patch back in, but I might adjust some of the other sheds if possible. And so for the potato patch, I would put that back in and then restore the money, and then use the 52,000 that we have to edit some of the other parts of the yard. So I'm thinking The shed that currently has the workshop in it, I might look to see if there is a workshop with doors on it, and replace that shed with a shed with doors, for example. If we get the assets for the silage bunker, I might, and they, they sort of click together, I might add a second silage bunker in and take out one of the other sheds as well. So it's sort of doing stuff like that, and just getting the yard a little bit more what I want it to be. But then we'll end up with whatever money we end up today with, and go from that, reboot from that point. I may also change the horsepower of this tractor, make it, I think the next size up is about 180 horsepower. Maximum, I believe, is 200. Or if there's a tractor for sale, we might just use that instead. Alright. But we'll be as close to where we are now as I can physically get it. And I think, restarting within, what are we on, episode 7? Restarting within 7 episodes is not it's not going to be difficult to do, because obviously I don't have to go seeking all the mods again. I've got to make sure I've got all the mods in that should be in. Obviously, if the mod fail or the updates fail, then the map won't be available to us. And if the map passes, Thursday, Friday, I probably don't have time to skip over to it, so we'll be stuck in this version of the map next weekend. So it really depends how early all of this happens. Yes. But we're all good for now. I think we'll get the edge of that section as well. Now I am running on narrow tyres on the tractor, so in theory we're not... You kind of look at it, then obviously the narrower the tyres, the more pressure they're putting on the ground. You would think at this stage wider tyres would be the better deal. With narrower tyres, obviously, to prevent destroying the crops when they're growing. I don't know. I mean, one of the farmers I watch who does own a seeder very similar to this, generally just runs with narrow tyres on all his tractors all year round, which does cause a problem when it gets muddy and he's trying to take bales out to the animals. However, all of his tractors are older two-wheel drive deals, so Not a lot of traction there anyway. He did a couple of years ago get a 4-wheel drive tractor, which does cope with the mud a little bit better. Okay. So how are we doing? We've still got 31%. I wonder if that's enough for seeding the grass field. Guess we will find out. Clip that edge too. And lift it up. So it looks like I'm going to end up at the right end of the field. Oh, and he does have front loaders on all of his tractors. So, yeah, when he's out seeding, he is seeding with the front loader. It actually seeds with the front loader arms and the bale spike on the front. But then he rarely changes over his front loader tools. He has a tractor with a shovel, and it just lives with the shovel on it. Most of the rest of them have bale spikes because he does a lot of bale work. So, and he does have a couple of 3-point link or 3-point hitch bale spikes as well, which he uses when he's bringing the bales in. Does he? Sometimes, yes. Yeah, because he'll use it as he'll put a bale on the back, which balances, provides a weight on the back of the tractor, and then he'll pick up bales on the loader arms. Which is sort of a clever way of doing things. You don't need to put a weight on the back of the tractor if you can load a bale on it. Okay, how are we doing here? So that piece over there to the right, I'm going to ignore that. Okay. Now I do have an option here. I don't know if this is enough seed to plant the grass field. And so we may end up being a little bit short. I don't really want to run down to the store if I can avoid it. However, that might not be an issue because we do have the seed storage on the farm. Now the seed is more costly than going to the store and picking it up. Fertilizer isn't. So for the most part, when we're short on liquid fertilizer, I'm just going to order it in, and solid fertilizer the same. But seed is more pricey, a little bit more pricey. But if we get down and I need 100 litres more seed, well, to heck with it, I'll buy 100 litres at the farm and go with that. Okay, we need flashing lights on, work lights off, seeder off and raised. And we'll drive down the road and see what happens. Oh, hi car. And I'm still thinking potentially taking down the hedge here. And possibly a couple of these trees and the hedge here. No, not the hedge there. That would get us into this field so that I can just not have to drive in the road with this cedar. I could put a gate there. I could put a gate along the street as well. Okay, did I shut that gate? No, I did not. Oh. Will this fit through the gate though? Is the next question. Grass. This is a problem the YouTuber who's got this cedar had with his. He had to take one of the gates off, maybe two of the gates off, to actually get out to the field to do any planting. I'm not sure he thought about that before he upgraded from his previous 3.5 meter cedar and got his 4.5 meter cedar. But yeah. Okay, so we're going to, I think we're going to struggle with the hills. Still nothing new. Cedars. 85 horsepower. Actually, we might be able to work with this. I want to do 2 headlands before we start going the rows, and I am going to be going across the hill, not up and down it. And there we go. Okay, lower that, turn it on. I'm not sure if this will destroy the grass that we didn't cut. Maybe it did. And I'm going to have to do this from the cab because low-hanging trees again. Now obviously once we put cows and this becomes pasture, I'm not going to care one iota about these trees, because in all likelihood I'm buying that field that's directly in front of us, which is much bigger, and we'll be able to plant